All right. YouTube, you guys are in the building. Facebook, are y'all in the building? We're trying to get Facebook online. We've got TikTok online. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. We are live and we've got so much to talk about today. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to a labor. Truly, it's a labor of love. It's truly a labor of love. It's a project that I've been working on for probably over a year, over a year. And I'm so excited to introduce you guys. So while we are waiting, I am working on getting Facebook going. And so let's see. Let's get Facebook on deck right now. Let's see. We've got MKRA joining on TikTok. Hey, hey, hello. Why don't y'all comment and let me know you guys are on and that you're able to hear me and see me. Hello, hello. Okay. We're still having some challenges on the Facebook side. So let's see if, hey, hi there. Hi, RK. How are you? Hello. What are we watching? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining. We're talking about mental health and relationships and the launch of my book, The Lotus Journal.
What's it about?
The Lotus Journal is a way to process negative thoughts. And so basically, if you had a rough day and something happened that created a real negative feeling, right? You go into a room, you said hello to somebody, they don't say hi back, and you might think it's you, right? They hate me, they don't like me, they're angry at me, or whatever. And this is a way to process negative emotions and feelings. So that's what I'm here to talk about. Have you had situations like that where you had to process really negative emotions, feelings, or you dealt with anxiety at all?
Yeah.
You have. You want to talk about an example?
I don't think I can think of one, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. That's great for you. I'm really happy about that. Most people can think of an example very quickly, right? Of something negative that happened that just made you not feel so great about yourself or feel positive, right? And so for people who struggle with that, having accountability and documenting those issues is really helpful. So that's what we're talking about today. We're also live on some other platforms. I'm here on TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. So thanks for joining and look forward to chatting with you some more.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course, RK. You take care.
You too.
All right. So yeah, everyone, thank you all so much for joining. We kind of jumped right in. I had someone join in on TikTok and come on live and want to chat. And so we're kind of going with the flow here. But let me start from the very top. My name is Kayla Curtin. And I'm lots of things. I play lots of different roles. I work in the technology space. As a consultant and a program manager. But aside from that, that's not why we're here today. Today, we're here to talk about the launch of the Lotus Journal. And the Lotus Journal It's a book that I published. It's available on Amazon.com. So if you search Lotus Journal, and you search my name, Kirton, Curtin, you'll be able to pull it up pretty quickly. It looks like this. It's green, like my top, sort of. And so this project was really a labor of love. So today I want to tell you a little bit about the Lotus Journal, talk to you about some of the feedback that we've received so far, which has been phenomenal, and really spend some time with you. Uh, there's one of my favorite people. Hi, Allie. Spend some time with you guys, um, just sharing about our family's experience, and also sharing some tidbits about the journal, why it's useful, and how you can get yours and how you can use it, which is really, really the goal of this. I will tell you, and let me share my screen here. I'm going to share this here a little bit. I will tell you this. This is really something that our family cares about much, very much. You know, this really starts with our children. About 5 or 6 years ago, our family learned so much about anxiety and depression and supporting our children through various experiences related to mental health. And that process was so important, but it was also daunting because, for my children, this was a new experience. And then for us, this was a new experience. And it was really kind of interesting, the limited number of resources that were out there to help us, right? We had so many questions. And if it wasn't for the guidance of school professionals and counselors and trial and error with different processes and different strategies, right? Um, we wouldn't have learned all the things that we've learned today to share with you. As a result of that journey, we have done so many different things in order to share our experiences, beginning with our children. Our children have been vocal in sharing their story on social media, on podcasts, sharing their experiences. You know, not with an effort to promote anything other than to share how you guys can also overcome and how we can handle and live with and process any kind of mental illness that you may be dealing with. So, we're really, really intent, and we see this as a purpose, in terms of sharing our experience, being able to help people. And so I will tell you, as of right now, the Lotus Journal has been published for about a week or so. We have donated and given out, and I have another box that just came in that I'm going to drop off at a local Center for Good, Chase Oaks Center for Good. So I'll be dropping those off on Monday. So we've been donating these books more than we've been selling them. So I will tell you that right now. I am not promoting this as a means of income. It's really a means of sharing information and providing accountability and a framework and structure around how to support your loved ones with any kind of mental illness. And it really begins with your thoughts, right? How we think and how we process our thoughts is a big part of how successful of a day we say we have, right? How good of a day, how well your day goes, how you're feeling that day, your ability to feel confident and be comfortable in whatever space you're in. It all begins with our thoughts. And so today we're going to spend a lot of time talking about thoughts. And really, as I shared earlier, and in other talks that I've given on this topic, it's really thinking about how we think, right? How we think. I mean, how much time do we spend doing that? And so I'm going to get us going. Let's get started with what the Lotus Journal is. And really, what it is a journal. So it's a physical book. It is a physical book, a journal that allows you to, and this is related very much to the concept of thought processing, right? And processing automatic negative thoughts. And this is so, so important because, for people that that struggle with that and have challenges with that, it is for some of us it is easier to say, wow, I had this thought, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe if I'm perceiving someone's reaction a certain kind of way, or I have a negative feeling, hey, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe tomorrow's going to be a better day, or I just need to take a nap and tomorrow's going to be better. And then there's some of us that need more help than that. We don't get to that hope quickly. And so the thought record and the thought journals and thought processing is a concept that allows you to really take stock and really evaluate and assess how you're feeling, what triggered that negative emotion, and then how can you get to the other side of it. And we're going to go through it together. I'm going to give you some examples. And if you guys want to, in the chat, you want to share some examples, you're more than welcome to as well. And also TikTok. Hey, TikTok. I've got some folks here on TikTok as well. But we'll go through it together. But really, the idea is that, it really helps you with creating a thought pattern around how you think, especially negative thoughts. And so I'll read to you the note that I've got here in the journal, because I think it really summarizes what it's about and why we have put our effort and intention and resources to get this and to share this journal. In 2022, I did a TED Talk entitled Parenting a Teen with Depression, where I shared our family's experience advocating for our child. We learned so much during that season of our lives. And one of the most important lessons we learned is to listen to our children. During the counseling sessions, the counselors often brought up thought processing and asked us to practice this at home. I did everything I could to make it easy and accessible for our children, including a Google form, a link on their home pages of their electronic devices, but nothing worked. Finally, our children said, if this was in a book, we would probably use it more. That is how the Lotus Journal was born. As an advocate for mental health, I was always fascinated by the idea of thought processing. I found that sitting in sessions with my children, the most effective course correcting, resetting sessions were the ones where we processed our thoughts by asking questions and answering them honestly, and practicing better ways to handle those thoughts in the future. I hope this journal helps you on your journey to better mental wellness. And I pray that you know that there are so many people like me who care about you and want to see you cope positively with any form of mental illness. And that is so true. That's really true. And we really, really, really mean that. We want to see you cope positively with whatever form of mental illness you're going through. Because I think there's a lot of times there's a misconception that it's just going to go away, right? And sometimes it doesn't go away, and sometimes it does, right? Sometimes medication helps and you're better, but don't put that pressure on yourself. We want you to be encouraged, and I want you to know that we want you to cope positively. We want you to cope positively. And so documenting those negative thoughts and processing the thoughts and examining how you're feeling and being in tune and not being numb, but kind of being connected to where you are is really important. And more importantly, it is talking to a mental health professional. I am not that. I am a caring adult. I am a caring parent and a caring adult. I'm an advocate. So I, like so many other people in many of your lives, are a person that, you can reach out to. And I even put that on my LinkedIn as well. If you guys are struggling, or if you need someone to talk to, sometimes it's even someone that you don't talk to at all on a regular basis. There are people walking around. There are people next to you. There are people at your job. There are people in your office, at school, that are the people that would be willing to listen, even if they don't know you, even if they, they haven't met you, they haven't developed a relationship. There's always someone who's willing to listen. And so that's number one thing. If you guys don't hear anything else about the Lotus Journal or about me, if you don't remember anything else, remember that there's always someone in your life, someone around that you can talk to, that you can talk to. Never, ever, ever, ever feel that you cannot talk to anyone. There's always somebody that you can talk to. And that's so important. That is super important to me. The other part I want to read to you guys is about the Lotus Journal and really kind of the purpose of it. And I'll go back to that screen there. And kind of why I called it the Lotus Journal. And I'll read that also directly from the journal. This journal is inspired by the lotus flower, a symbol of purity, enlightenment, and rebirth in many cultures around the world. The lotus flower is known for its ability to grow in muddy waters and rise above the surface to bloom into a beautiful and pristine flower, representing the journey of overcoming adversity and achieving inner peace. The Lotus Journal is designed to help you reflect on your own journey and embrace the power of positive thinking, illustrated in Philippians 4:8-9. Whether you use it every day or when you need it, this journal is a tool to help you cultivate inner peace and a sense of purpose. We are what we think. We really are what we think. Thought journaling is a powerful tool for reflection and personal growth. Writing down our thoughts, feelings, and experiences can help us gain clarity and perspective on our lives, as well as provide a safe and private outlet for processing difficult emotions and experiences. As you write in this journal, remember the lessons of the lotus flower, that even in difficult times, we can find the strength to rise above the challenges and grow to our fullest potential. And that's really the objective, right? Is to give you some tools and place some tools in your hand that can help you grow to your absolute fullest potential. All right. So, with all of that said, um, thank you all so much. I'm going to go on to tell you guys a little bit more about the journal. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Ali. Um, so basically, with the journal, a big part of therapy and thought processing, the concept of thought processing, a big part of that is that there has to be accountability, right? If we are constantly just going to therapy and just talking about our day and talking about how things are going, right, and we're not really kind of putting to practice what we're learning, it's not going to be very helpful. And so one of the things that we've got received feedback from mental health professionals is that it's really useful to have these thought processing questions, like for instance, for processing automatic thoughts, and here's for TikTok, for processing automatic thoughts, right? Having these questions in front of you, having a notebook and a journal where you can write the dates, what you answered, going through the process, and then having accountability around thought processing is really huge, right? And it really working and providing you with the transformational potential that thought processing has, right? And so having the ability to write those negative thoughts down and answer the questions is really important. So what I'm sharing right here is the how to use the journal, right? And so we've got some of the instructions basically, and I'm going to read some of that to you. So first we're going to talk about what was the situation, right? What happened? And even that question sometimes it's kind of hard to answer that first question, right? So I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say that you went to church, right? And you walked in at church, or at work and you said good morning to everyone and no one responded, right? And if you were already having a really bad day, we're really having a crappy day, and that happens, that could trigger some negative thoughts, right? I'm not worthy, no one likes me, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, right? And so you can kind of go off on a legitimate tangent, right? Because you're saying hello and someone didn't say hi, right? And so, thinking about that scenario, let's go through the process of the situation. That situation happening at the beginning of your day may have impacted the rest of your day. And sometimes by the time we get to documenting this, maybe at the end of the day, you even forgot what was the thing that triggered that negative emotion, right? And so that's why it's really important to have the journal on you and have it with you to say, whoa, 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 I'm kind of getting the feels. I'm getting these really strong emotions and feelings. I'm feeling it in my belly. I feel it in my chest. I'm kind of feeling like I can't breathe. And, I'm really overwhelmed by this thing that happened. Let me write it down. And so you'll write down the situation that led to it. Okay. And then you're going to talk about what was the automatic thought, boy, I walked in and I didn't get the response that I thought I was going to get. Darn it. That automatic thought was like, yep, they don't like you, or you're not good enough, or you're not skilled enough, or whatever that negative thought is, right? And then you're going to talk about the emotion. Like, what did you feel? And it's like, well, ditto. I felt that I wasn't good enough. I believe that automatic thought, right? I believe that thought. And so you're going to go through that. And then this is the part that's really super helpful and super important. And it is the disputing the evidence. So let's, on both sides of that coin, you walked into a room, or in my job, you're on a Teams call and you say good morning and you don't get a response. And guess what? What's the evidence that that automatic thought was true? What's the evidence that I'm not good enough, or that someone doesn't like me, or that I'm not skilled at my job, right? Where's the evidence? And so the accountability behind that, because a lot of us, we would have stopped at the negative, the automatic thought and the feelings, and we would have ran with that, right? A lot of times we do that, right? A lot of times we do that. We just stop at that automatic thought, right? And so we don't take the time to examine it. And so the evidence is important because, hey, when you start to take stock, right, and you start thinking about how you think, let me think about how I think. So typically, I would have taken this way. And wow, is there any evidence? And I'll share with you guys a story. I did a presentation. I sometimes do motivational speaking for organizations, and I had the privilege of speaking to a phenomenal group of women a couple of Mondays back. And one of the ladies shared a story. She walked into the room. She's a nurse, and she, had this. She was brand new on the job, and there was this lady that was being super negative, and really, it was just very discouraging. She's going through this really difficult time, and on top of that, at work, just being constantly put down and just not supported in a way that a new employee should have been supported, right? She was extremely discouraged about that. And we went through the journal with it, and we said, okay, what is the evidence of the automatic thoughts? Because based on how this lady was responding, the lady in my workshop felt that the lady didn't like her, that she didn't think she was competent, she didn't think she was skilled at her job. And come to find out that the evidence didn't support that, right? Later on, she finds out that this lady was more discouraged and upset because her own child was let go, and so therefore, this situation sort of grew into her almost trying to sabotage this young lady. And here's the thing: the evidence, when we look at the dispute, there's no evidence that this person wasn't capable of doing their job, that they weren't liked or appreciated, that they were incompetent at all, right? And it's really important that, that process of the disputing the evidence is really important to hold us accountable. Hold each other, hold me accountable, hold yourself accountable, um, in terms of how far we take those negative thoughts and how we process it, and also how we take the blame for other people's challenges. And so, long story short, we together as a class in the workshop, we developed this alternative thought. And the alternative thought, and all the ladies in the room chimed in, we had an alternative thought of, hey, if we feel like we're not being well received, or we feel like we're showing up with kindness and positivity, and that's not reciprocated, we're gonna be okay, right? Alternative thought is that, hey, we're gonna be fine, and maybe I don't put a lot of extra energy on that person. Maybe I focus on me, but I keep the positivity and I keep that door open for opportunity for reconciliation. In some cases, that's not really called for, right? So it depends on the situation. But ultimately, we take our power back because, hey, not everything that is happening to me is about me. Not every response that I get is about me. A lot of the time, it's about that person. It could be about someone else, right? And so, this is just one example of how, this kind of pausing and thought processing is helpful, right? And I'm using this very, generic example as an example, but there are other uses for the journal, especially for our relatives and family members with anxiety and depression and any type of mental illness. If you're supporting an adult, a loved one with anxiety and depression, and they're being asked to track and document their thoughts, negative thoughts in particular, this has really been this is a phenomenal tool. And I do want to share about the feedback that I have received from mental health professionals, that they like the structure. That's one thing that we've heard time and time again. The structure is really great. The fact that there's a calendar so that you can track the number of days that you've used it or have had to use it is really helpful. Being able to track the calendar number of days. Another thing that some of them have found super useful is we have included mental health resource lists. And I will name these, in particular, we have the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 988 in the United States. So if you're in the US and at any point you're having a thought of suicide, 988 is the number that you would call for that. There's a crisis helpline, text line as well. Again, US, it is 741-741. You can text this crisis hotline, and another caring person, adult, will chat with you via text. That is 741-741. There are other resources in here. There's a veterans crisis hotline. Our veterans go through so much as well. There's the Trevor Project. Okay, that is a hotline and for suicide prevention for LGBTQIA plus teens. So if you're part of the LGBTQIA plus community, you can text 678-678. That's 678-678. It's called the Trevor Project. There's another hotline called the Trans Lifeline, which is 877-565-8860. So our trans community folks, if you guys are having a difficult time and a difficult day, there is no reason for you to feel like you cannot talk to someone. Call 877-565-8860. And that is specifically for our trans friends. And of course, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, NAMI.org. It's a great website with lots of resources and tools. And finally, the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention as well. So All of those resources are here, really, really here for you. I'm sorry, I'm showing the wrong page. All those resources are here and available. You guys can also Google this information, but they're just in the book if you need it. And it's okay if you need it. So I want to repeat, National Suicide Prevention is 988. You can dial that number and it'll connect you directly to someone that you could talk to. And the crisis text line is 741-741. And you can text that number at any time, 24/7, day or night. And I hope that today, at least you guys have learned that there are specific hotlines and support lines for LGBTQIA plus and also for trans our trans friends, because children, adults, right? If you are part of the trans community and you're having a difficult time with your mental health, there are resources for you out there. Okay. All right. So let's talk about two more other components. So part of the journal, we also have included a create space page for you to be creative and draw. In fact, my daughter did a research paper on the importance of the arts and mental health and how they're so tightly related. Creativity and art is so positively impacting of your mental health, your mental emotional health. And so that was really important for us to have this space where you could draw, you can paint, you can color, and it's a bulleted page. So you can do your artwork, drawing, you can doodle, you can scratch. If you're having a rough day, you just want to just draw a bunch of lines that don't make sense, you can do that. And we've also added a gratitude page. So, it's not just enough to, document the negative thought and then create an alternative thought, but then let's shift to some gratitude, in that same energy, in that same space. Let's focus on what we're grateful for and what we appreciate. And so that is really what the journal offers. And that is really what we put together for you. I am so grateful for all of the support that we have received and all of the likes. Thank y'all so much on TikTok and on Facebook and LinkedIn for all of the likes and all of the support that we have continued to receive. And I think for us, I would love to invite you guys to join me. So let me see if I can invite some friends. Let me see here. Yep. So if you received an invitation or you would like to join me here and share your experience with the journal or talk about your mental health in general, I would love to chat with you. You're definitely welcome to join. You can just chat here with us and leave your comment. And I'd love for you I'd love to add you so you guys could join in. How are our TikTok friends doing? How are you guys doing? How's your mental health? Awesome. Thank y'all so very much. Thank you for your support and for being here with me today. Okay. And so for those of you who are on Facebook, you can chat me directly on LinkedIn as well. If you have any comments, you're more than welcome to chat. I do have a private comment that came in just about uses and recommendations and using it for other people. 1000% you can. So with the Lotus Journal, you can most definitely you know, use it when you're having conversations with someone that you care about. I do this quite often. Sometimes I'll get a call and it's like, man, this happened, that happened, and I'm just feeling really bummed about whatever's going on. And what I do, and although I put this together, I like to open my journal and I go through the questions and I write them down. And I kind of, it helps, right? Because when we're helping our friends and we're a caring adult, right? And sometimes when someone calls you with, oh, you know, the sky is falling and I need support, sometimes we feel like we don't have the tools and we don't know what to say. And so the journal is a really great way for you to have in your toolbox as a caring adult to say, okay, let's talk about what happened. Tell me what was the triggering thought, right? And they'll tell you what was the triggering situation? What was the automatic thought? What was the emotion that you felt? And it really helps to guide those conversations where that person is coming to their own conclusions about the situation. Because that's the other important part. In the counseling sessions that I sat in with my children, a big part of that was we're not giving the answers, right? So I'm not giving you the answers. You are coming up with the answers. And so this is a really good way for us caring, supportive adults, right? To not give all the answers. So it's good accountability for us to allow our loved ones to come to their own conclusion that is affirming. Thank you, Cindy. That's affirming of their experience and what happened. I found that as a parent, sometimes I would try to just write it off and go, oh, you know, you're fine, it's okay, or oh, this happened, oh, you know, this is how I handled it when I was in high school, or when I was in college, this is what I did, or you know, and your dad and I were young, this is what. And it's like, that's not really affirming of that person's experience. And so sometimes in trying to be helpful, we're not helpful, right? We're just not helpful. And so while this is accountability for our loved ones, it's a lot of accountability for us, right? Because we're able to keep ourselves accountable to be supportive of our loved ones and their experience and validate them, and also validate their ability to resolve their own challenges. You know, how empowering it is that at the end of this discussion, they've come up with their own alternative thought. And sometimes with our help, but that they've formulated this strategy for the next time that this negative thought happens, the next time that I don't feel good, the next time that I, you know, feel discouraged, that I have a solution that I want to try, that I came up with on my own. So thank you so much for that question. Definitely, you know, it is a tool that you can use, you know, with your loved ones on the phone. And you know, I had someone else say, you know, hey, I'm thinking about, you know, having like a daily, you know, structured time that we just journal together. And that's great too. But, you know, sometimes that can be intimidating. I did see that with my children, where when I said, okay, let's sit down and let's do the journal, it was like homework. And so it wasn't very positive, right? And I'll be honest with you, my husband also kind of like, you know, I'll tell him, I'm like, babe, this happened. And he's like, oh, what was the triggering? What was the thought? What happened? And so he goes through these questions too with me. And it's very interesting to, you know, being on the other side of that, because he's like, what was the triggering, you know, what led to the unpleasant emotion, and you know, what was the automatic thought. And so he's very good. He kind of weaves it right into the conversation. And it's really, really positive. It's really effective in that way too. So I think, you know, everyone's style is different. Some people are more structured and they will want to sit with you and let's go through the questions. Thank you, Allie. Allie goes, but after you feel so much better. Yeah, that's true. After you feel better, typically in the very beginning, ask you, especially the situation question. It's so funny. The first question of what led to that unpleasant emotion, that is the toughest question sometimes, because if you wait too long to even crack open this journal, to go through this process of analyzing why you feel so crappy today, right? Um, if you wait, you might have forgotten what was that triggering issue. What was it? Did someone cut me off, or did something, serious happen, or did I get a diagnosis? And those things you won't forget. But if it's something small, you might forget what the triggering issue was. And so that's why the having the journal with you is really helpful. We try to make it as small as possible so that it's super light, not so many pages. You can just roll it up, you can pop it in your pocketbook. Um, so, super, super easy to carry. I will say too, this is very inpatient friendly. That was another thing that we were thinking about. If it was spiraled or anything else, or um, hardcover, it's not inpatient friendly. But this is paperback. It is very inpatient friendly. So if you have a loved one in the hospital, uh, in any kind of hospital, right, or a mental health hospital, they can take this with them. They can have this with them, and it's a great way for, even for those visits where you can visit with them and say, hey, did you write anything in the thought journal, Lotus journal, that you want to talk about? How was your day today? It could be really good tool in supporting your loved ones that are in any kind of a hospital. So that was really important for us to create it in a way that it was soft, and it would be acceptable in any kind of mental health or hospital, inpatient, okay, or any program outpatient, IOP, any step down programs that your loved ones may be in. Um, this should be okay to have. And of course, with that, they'll look at it and make sure there's nothing crazy in it, and but this material makes it really friendly for those situations, right? Because I guess, again, we're trying to de untaboo, right, this process. We're trying to kind of um, provide and be supportive of families that have gone through this, and say, hey, here's some things we've learned, and here's some things that will help you be supportive and be a caring adult. um, so anyway, yeah. But Ali, thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. It's not the easiest conversation you'll have, especially if you're putting your loved ones through the thought tracker, right? The Lotus Journal itself. But at the end of the conversation, they will feel better. They will feel so much better. You'll gain so much perspective, right, on this negative thought and feeling that you initially had. So thank you for that. All right. So did y'all have any questions? Definitely. I'll take some questions now or comments. Let me switch and see if we have any comments going on. Awesome. Yeah, so I will say this as we start to close. I 1000% want to encourage you guys. If you have purchased the journal, some of you have already. First of all, thank you so much. Like I said at the very beginning, we are selling these on Amazon, yes. But I can tell you, as of today, we've donated maybe about 5 or 6 times what we have sold. And I actually just received a new order, and we're donating 10 journals to a local organization. So, if you are part of an organization and you're interested in working with us, if you're interested in a presentation or in me coming to talk with your group, whether it's a work group, definitely we're interested in talking with you about that. The other piece that I did want to say related to um, work and organizations is that lots of times, people underutilize their employee assistance programs, right? So these are programs where you can get free counseling, no copay support. And when we were going through our challenges, the employee assistance program was such a huge help. It was such a huge help. And it really kind of, those counselors on those lines really helped guide us, answer all our questions, provided so many resources. And so truly, truly, I have to give a shout out to employee assistance programs. I was part of an organization at the time that had a EAP, yeah, that had a mental health um, like employee group within the organization. And I remember one day calling one of the chairs of the mental health group and saying, "Man, I had a really rough day today. This is what's going on." And so there was so much support and love from our mental health internal organization group. And so, like, and this is why I'm telling you, I'm not telling you all this because I live in a fairy tale world. I'm telling you this because I've experienced it, where I have called on complete strangers, people at work that were on this mental health group that I had never talked to before about anything personal, and said, OMG, I need to talk to somebody. I need help. And these people were able to help me and provide guidance and provide their own stories and encouragement and help guide me and my family, right, through the very challenging process of managing mental health and that whole experience. And so we have so many resources in our community, from school counselors, to my job, having that mental health group that was super, super, super supportive. And so, again, when I tell you all that if you're having a difficult time with your mental health and you're having a rough day, talk to anybody. Anybody. Sometimes you might talk to the wrong person and you kind of go, okay, not you, right? But talk to anybody. There are people out there. And if that person's not the person, they might kind of point you, okay, go to her. She's gonna give you a hug, she's gonna be caring. And that's okay, right? That's okay. I so want to stress, if you are in that difficult situation, reach out and get help. Reach out and talk to somebody, right? 741-741, right? That is let me go back because I forgot. 741-741 is the crisis text hotline in the US. In the US, 741-741, right? And call 988 24/7 if you are in a crisis, in a mental health crisis, okay? But yeah, there are people that are caring, that are interested in helping you, and there's no relationship needed. There's no, I don't know you needed. There's no, we've never had lunch needed. There are people, there are adults, there are folks out there who are caring and supportive. I have some of them here in my chat. Cindy is one of those. Allie is one of those. Alex is one of those. That if you work with any of these people I'm calling out, you've seen them at church. I don't care what happened and what happened and what had happened. These are people that are caring people, me included, that will take your call and that will offer you support. And if they're not the best people, they will send you on to somebody who can help you, right? But truly, that's really the dream for me, is to see us create communities that care and love on people that are having any kind of struggle with mental illness. That's really the goal here for the Lotus Journal. And I thank you all so very much for being a part of this and for celebrating this with me. This is just the beginning. And I'm excited. If you guys please do get the book, get it online, Amazon.com, search for Lotus Journal, Kirton, and you'll see mine pop up. It'll be the first thing you see. And so let me put it back up there. Let's see if we get it up there. And then secondly, do leave a review. Let me know how you've used it and how it's been helpful, and what any feedback that you have. I'm definitely open. We've had so much feedback, and we've asked mental health professionals, hey, what would you change? Anything, and for the most part, I mean, we haven't received any recommendations yet. So for the most part, they have said, this is excellent. I will use it in my practice. We need this in our practice. I will share this with my clients. It's so helpful. Thank you so much for putting this together. And so we've got so much positive feedback. So this isn't the last time you'll hear from us. I'm planning to continue this conversation in podcasts and other live events. So definitely we will be talking more. I want to interview some folks and talk to some professionals. So there will be more events in the future where we'll get to talk more about the journal, talk about how it's being used and how it's helping people. Thank you all so very much for your time and for your support and for being a part of this movement, because it's a movement. We're going to change the world. We're going to make a difference, and we're going to create communities where people with mental illness feel loved and supported. We need that. We need that. And so that's the goal here. That's my personal goal with the Lotus Journal. So, one, please do order. If you'd like to donate some, also let me know, because I get lots of requests for donations. And so far, we have been, I'm not creating these in my, in my, I'm not creating these in my house. We're paying for these. If we're donating them, we have paid for this as well. So these aren't free to me, even as the author. They're not free to me, but I'm happy to donate them as needed, because that's how much I believe in it. That's how much I believe it's transformational and it's going to make a difference. And so it's that important. So if you have college students or young adults in your life or adults in your life that could benefit from the book, from the journal, and for some reason they wouldn't have access to order it or would not be able to order it, do reach out to us on private messages. You can comment here on TikTok. You can message me privately. I think you guys should be able to, and I'll accept. Let's talk about how we can get this resource in your hand. That's really important. Hopefully we won't get so many requests that I'm gonna have to like get another job or start doing something else to be able to support all the requests. But so far they haven't been too crazy. So if we can do it, we will. But thank you all so very much for joining today, for listening to me chat for all these 51 minutes. I hope that this has been helpful, and I look forward to more conversations. Thank you all so much. And thank you to my amazing family and my children. We are going to erase the stigma for sure, Cindy. We will, and we must. We absolutely must. Mental health is health. It's health, period. Right? It's health. And so we will erase the stigma. That's the objective. And so thank you all so much to my family, my husband, Alex, and my children, Allie and Matt. Without your support, none of this would be possible. I thank you all for giving me your blessing to share our story, and to thank you all for partnering together so that we can make a difference beyond our little family. And I love our little family, but I'm so glad that our family is growing by expanding this community around mental health and mental health support. So thank you all so much for joining. You can get the Lotus Journal on Amazon.com. Search for Lotus Journal, Kirton. It's available there. Reach out if you find opportunities for us to share or present with your group or your EAP, your Employee Assistance Program group. Happy to talk about this on your group as well. But otherwise, I hope and pray that you all have a phenomenal rest of your Sunday. Thank you for joining, and we will talk again so very soon. Thank y'all.